Sometimes life puts you in a place where everything feels impossible. But it is in those moments that prayer, namaz, becomes your greatest strength. Not just a ritual, not just an obligation, but a conversation with the one who never leaves your side. I was once told that life is unpredictable. It gives you what you never asked for and takes away what you thought you could never live without. But what if I tell you that in every moment of pain, in every moment of loss, there is one thing that remains: faith. Faith is what makes you kneel in sujood even when your heart is broken. Faith is what makes you raise your hands in dua even when your eyes are filled with tears. And faith is what makes you whisper, Ya Allah, when the world turns silent. Prayer is not just an act of worship, it is an intimate conversation with the one who created us. When we stand for namaz, we are not just fulfilling a duty, we are opening our hearts to the one who understands our deepest emotions. Think about it. In a world where we often struggle to express our pain, our fears, or even our dreams, namaz becomes a sacred space where words are never lost and tears are never wasted. It is in those quiet moments of sujood that we say the things we cannot say to anyone else. Too often we see prayer as a routine, a set of physical actions performed 5 times a day. But if we shift our perspective, namaz becomes something entirely different. Imagine standing in front of the most powerful, the most merciful, the most loving presence in the universe. You are not just reciting verses, you are having a personal conversation with Allah who listens even when no one else does. Every word of Surah Al Fatiha, every whisper of Ya Allah is an invitation to feel His nearness. When we truly connect with our prayers, we realize that we are never alone. Life has a way of making us feel isolated, as if no one truly understands our struggles. But through namaz, we are constantly reminded that Allah is closer to us than our jugular vein. He sees our silent battles, He knows our unspoken fears, and He hears us even when we have no words left. How comforting is it to know that no matter where we are, we can simply raise our hands and speak to Him. Namaz is not just about asking for what we want, it is about surrendering to what we need. We often come to prayer seeking solutions, but sometimes Allah gives us something far greater: peace. There are days when the storm outside doesn't stop, but through namaz, the storm inside us does. When we make prayer our safe haven, we realize that every hardship we face is nothing compared to the strength we gain from standing before Allah. Life is unpredictable. One moment everything feels perfect, and the next it all comes crashing down. We lose people we love, we face unexpected failures, and sometimes we struggle just to get through the day. It is in these moments of despair that faith becomes our anchor. The beauty of namaz is that it does not promise to remove difficulties, but it does promise to give us the strength to face them. When we pray, we are not just following a command, we are recharging our souls with the belief that no matter how dark life gets, Allah's light is always near. Have you ever felt completely lost, as if there was no way forward? That is exactly when prayer becomes our greatest refuge. When Prophet Yunus was trapped in the belly of the whale with no escape in sight, he did one thing: he prayed. And Allah, in His infinite mercy, delivered him from the darkness. This is the power of faith. It teaches us that no situation is too hopeless, no pain too great, and no difficulty too impossible when we turn to Allah in sincere prayer. Faith does not mean life will be free from hardships, but it means we will never have to face them alone. When we pray, we remind ourselves that no struggle is greater than the one who created us. It is easy to lose hope when things don't go our way, but faith teaches us that every delay, every hardship, and every unanswered prayer is part of a bigger, better plan. Even when we do not see the wisdom behind it, Allah's plan is always perfect. We must remember that the true strength of faith is not seen when everything is going right, it is seen when everything is falling apart, yet we still choose to trust in Allah. The world may tell us to give up, but Namaz tells us to hold on. It reminds us that we are stronger than we think, not because of who we are, but because of who we rely on. And when we have faith, we realize that even in the darkest moments, we are never truly lost. As so often, we pray because we want our problems to disappear. We want relief from pain, solutions to difficulties, and answers to uncertainties. But what if I told you that the true power of prayer is not in changing our circumstances, but in changing us? Namaz is not just about getting what we want, it is about becoming who we need to be. When we consistently pray, something shifts within us. We become more patient, more peaceful, more aware of our purpose. The same problems that once seemed unbearable now feel manageable because we are no longer fighting them alone. Namaz does not promise a life without struggles, but it does promise a heart that is strong enough to face them with faith. Imagine waking up every day with a heavy heart, but instead of carrying that burden alone, you place it before Allah in sujood. Imagine facing challenges, but instead of feeling helpless, you feel empowered because you know Allah is guiding you. That is the transformation prayer brings. It does not erase difficulties, but it gives us the strength to overcome them with dignity and grace. Many people seek peace in external things, money, success, relationships, but true peace is found in prayer because when you connect with the Creator, everything else falls into place. Namaz is not just a duty, it is a gift, a lifeline, a source of unimaginable strength. And when we embrace it fully, we realize that no matter what life throws at us, we will always have the power to rise above it. There comes a time in life when people disappoint us, relationships fall apart, and we feel abandoned by those we once trusted the most. We live in a world where loyalty is often temporary, where people remember us only when they need something, and where love sometimes comes with conditions. In those moments of loneliness, when it feels like the world has turned away, there is one presence that never leaves: Allah. No matter how many mistakes we make, how many times we fall, or how unworthy we feel, He is always there, waiting for us to turn back to Him. Have you ever felt like no one understands your struggles? Like no matter how much you explain, people fail to truly see the depth of your pain? That is because human love is limited. It is based on perceptions, circumstances, and emotions that constantly change. But Allah's love is eternal, unconditional, and perfect. He does not love us because of what we achieve or how perfect we appear to be. He loves us even when we are broken, even when we have lost our way, even when we feel unworthy of His mercy. He is Al Wadud, the most loving, and His love is not dependent on anything we do. The world would judge us for our past, but Allah looks at our efforts to change. The world will abandon us at our lowest, but Allah is closest to us in our pain. When we pray, when we cry out to Him, He does not just listen, He responds. Sometimes that response is not immediate, and sometimes it is not in the way we expect. But one thing is certain: He never turns away from those who sincerely seek Him. Even when we forget Him, even when we neglect our prayers, even when we prioritize everything else over Him, He still waits for us with open arms, ready to forgive, ready to heal. So when life gets tough, when you feel like no one is standing by your side, remember this: the world may walk away, but Allah never does. People's opinions of you do not define you, only your connection with Allah does. And that connection is never broken unless we break it ourselves. But the most beautiful thing, no matter how many times we turn away from Him, all it takes is one sincere prayer to return. Because Allah's door is always open, His mercy is always vast, and His love is always near. Life is a series of ups and downs, a journey filled with moments of joy and moments of despair. There are days when everything feels right, and then there are days when nothing makes sense. We pray for things to go our way, for doors to open, for problems to disappear. But sometimes, despite our sincere prayers, life remains difficult. In those moments, many of us begin to question, is Allah even listening? The answer is simple, yes, He always is. But just because we don't see immediate results doesn't mean our prayers are in vain. Allah's timing is perfect and His wisdom is beyond our understanding. The key is to never stop praying, no matter how hard life gets. There will be times when your heart feels heavy, when your tears flow in sujood, and when you feel like your prayers are going unanswered. But do not let that stop you from turning to Allah. Sometimes the answer is not yet. Sometimes the answer is, I have something better for you. And sometimes the answer is, this trial is shaping you into the person you are meant to become. Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. And if He has placed you in a difficult situation, it is because He knows you have the strength to overcome it. Namaz is your weapon, your shield, your source of power in times of weakness. Think of the prophets. Each of them faced immense hardships. Prophet Yunus and every single beloved Prophet Muhammad, as Su'alos was betrayed and imprisoned, and even our beloved Prophet Muhammad endured loss, pain, and rejection. But what did they all do? They never stopped praying, and in the end, their faith led them to victory. If Allah tested the strongest of His believers, then surely He will test us too. But every test comes with a promise that prayer will always be the key to relief, even when the doors seem closed. So today I ask you, when life knocks you down, will you stay there or will you turn to Allah in prayer? When your dreams feel impossible, will you give up? Or will you believe that the one who created the universe can create miracles for you? Namaz is not just about asking, it is about trusting. It is about saying, Ya Allah, I may not see the way, but I know you have one. Never stop praying, never stop believing, because no matter how difficult life gets, as long as you have your connection with Allah, you have everything you need